You ever have those mornings where the shop smells so good you almost don't want to start working? Just that mix of cedar shavings and a little hint of machine oil? It's Monday, May 18th, and if I didn't have a stack of walnuts staring me down, I'd probably just sit here and breathe it in all day.
Oh, please. Within 20 minutes, you'd be fidgeting for a chisel. You aren't exactly the meditative stillness type, Tiger. You're more the how can I make this piece of metal slightly more complex type.
Guilty as charged. But it's a big day. We're diving into the TigerDen daily. We've got some serious tech shifting the ground under our feet, robotic welders that look like they're out of a sci-fi flick, and some real talk about why the plumbing trade is finally looking a little different in 2026.
Plus, we need to talk about the maker mogul side of things. Because as much as you love the smell of cedar, people generally like the smell of a cleared invoice even more.
Too true. Let's kick it off with the heavy metal. Forney just released the X series. Now, I've dragged many a welder across a muddy job site, and usually if it's light enough to carry, it's about as powerful as a hairdryer. But these new units, they're aiming for that sweet spot where you aren't sacrificing the oomph just to save your lower back.
I saw the specs on those. They're pitching them to the High Mobility Pro. Is that just marketing speak for it fits in the trunk of a Civic, or is there muscle there?
No, there's genuine grit in these. It's for the guy who needs to blowing through half-inch plate on a trailer repair but doesn't want to hire a crane to move the power source. But speaking of things you would need a crane for, have you seen what's happening at Prospect Steel?
The Block 500, it looks like it should be building a space station, not a bridge truss.
It's a beast. They're using it to automate the structural stuff, the repetitive, soul-crushing long seams on massive beams. And I know the old school guys are going to grumble about machines taking jobs, but look, I've spent 10 hours a day under a hood doing the same 4-foot weld over and over. Your neck hates you, your eyes are fried.
So you're saying the robot takes the grunt work, and the humans get to do the stuff that actually requires a brain?
Exactly. Let the robot do the heavy lifting so the human can be the surgeon. It's about oversight and precision. It's the same vibe with Oshkosh opening that second factory near Cincinnati.
That's a game changer for the Midwest, right?
Huge. If you're a maker in Ohio or PA, getting custom laser cut parts used to be a wait 2 weeks situation. Now, it's going to be like ordering a pizza. You send a DXF file, and basically by the time you've cleaned your safety glasses, the truck is pulling up.
Switching gears from heavy steel to, well, copper and PEX. I caught that story about Gemma in Edinburgh. 22 years old, finishing her plumbing and gas apprenticeship.
That's the future right there.
She's crushing it. And it's funny. People still act surprised when a woman shows up with a pipe wrench. But the industry is finally waking up to the fact that talent doesn't care about gender. The PHCC Educational Foundation is actually putting a massive amount of skin in the game this year.
$18,000 in scholarships. That's not pocket change. That's 75 different apprentices who won't have to lie awake wondering how they're going to afford their toolkit or their certifications.
You always say that the barrier to entry in the trades is more of a mental fence than a brick wall.
It really is. I remember when I started, I thought I had to own every tool in the catalog before I could call myself a pro. I spent money I didn't have on stuff I didn't need. These scholarships, they're the ladder over that fence. If you're an apprentice and you aren't applying for this, you're basically leaving a brand new ProPress tool just sitting on the sidewalk. Go get it.
Okay, let's talk money. Shopify put out their 2026 profit trends. To the surprise of absolutely no one who spends time on social media, tufted rugs are still a gold mine. But there's a new term popping up, tactile art.
Tactile art. That's a fancy way of saying people are tired of everything feeling like it came out of a plastic mold in a factory overseas. They want bumps, they want grain, they want to touch a bowl and feel where the gouge slightly hopped because the wood was a bit stubborn right there.
Warm minimalism is the buzzword for the woodworkers. Clean lines, but raw finishes. Basically, they want it to look like a Scandinavian architect lived in a forest for a month.
It's a relief, honestly. For years, everybody wanted river tables where the wood was trapped under 2 inches of plastic. Now, people want to actually feel the timber. My advice for the makers trying to sell this stuff, don't hide the ugly bits of your process.
You mean the oops moments?
I mean the sweat. If you're sanding for 4 hours, show the dust on your face. Customers in 2026 aren't just buying a coffee table. They're buying the fact that a human being with a sore back made it. Transparency is your best marketing tool. If it's too perfect, they think it's from a big box store. If they see the struggle, they'll pay the premium.
Speaking of struggle, let's talk about the $2,000 walnut challenge. I saw a guy online this week almost cry because he took a chunk out of a slab that cost more than my first car.
Oh, I felt that in my soul. Working with high value slabs is like performing heart surgery with a power tool. We're seeing a big trend in resurrection projects, taking these massive warped pieces of timber that most people would give up on and flattening them out.
But not everyone has a $10,000 industrial drum sander sitting in their garage, Tiger. What's the real world fix for a warped slab?
You build a router sled. It's essentially just a wooden bridge that lets your router glide over the wood at a fixed height. It's cheap, it's primitive, and it's arguably the most satisfying way to turn a potato chip shaped board into a flat tabletop. It'll save you a fortune in surfacing fees, and honestly, it's the ultimate paying your dues moment in woodworking.
And if someone isn't ready to tackle a $2,000 slab, what's the weekend warrior move?
The Maker channel just dropped plans for a classic storage hutch. It's great because it's all about joinery. It's the fundamentals. If you can build a sturdy cabinet hutch, you can build almost anything. Plus, it hides the mess. And Lord knows my shop needs more places to hide the mess.
I've seen your miscellaneous drawer, Tiger. It needs its own zip code.
Everyone has one. It's where the stray hex keys and the screws that might be useful someday go to die. But that's the beauty of the Patreon summit we saw this week too. These top-tier makers are finally showing the behind the scenes of their shop organization. We're moving away from the perfectly staged shop and into the this is where I actually work reality.
It feels like the theme for this year is really access. Access to tech for the small shop, access to scholarships for the new tradespeople, and access to the truth behind the craft through these live streams.
You hit the nail on the head. We're in this weird, wonderful era where the secrets of the guild are being shared freely, whether you're watching a live stream on how to organize your pliers or you're a woman like Gemma, proving that a gas torch doesn't care who's holding it. The walls are coming down.
So, what's the takeaway for the person listening while they're driving to the job site or sanding their first birdhouse?
Don't wait until you're ready, because ready is a moving target. If you want to weld, look at those portable Forney units. If you're an apprentice, fill out those scholarship forms tonight. If you've got a slab of wood staring at you, build that router sled and start making chips fly. The only difference between a master and a beginner is that the master has messed up a lot more stuff than the beginner has even tried yet.
And you've messed up a lot of stuff, haven't you?
Oh, I've got a scrap pile that can be seen from low Earth orbit, but every one of those scraps taught me something.
Well, before we go, we want to hear from you guys. Are you more hyped about the tech, like the Oshcut expansion, or are you looking to get your hands on those new Forney welders? Jump into the comments and let us know.
Get out there, get your hands dirty, and remember, if it doesn't fit, you forgot to measure. And if it still doesn't fit, well, that's why they invented wood filler. Catch you next time.